Oh, here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all for coming on a November day. I think most people are probably here, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if anybody else joins later, that's fine. I'm with Corinne here, and she can watch and let them in. All right, so first of all, I'm Maureen. I'm one of the owners of Maple Leaf Adventures. And for 12 years, I was a guide on board, but for the last 13 years, I think I've been working mostly from our HQ here. And I'm accompanied here by Kareen, who works with me in HQ and has helped design this program, which is something we've wanted to do for a very long time. All right. She and I are sharing a mouse right now, so if there's any pauses, it's just switching the mouse. So this is me, and Karina's here beside me. I think everybody who is here knows who we are at Maple Leaf Adventures, and that we operate boutique scale, or what some people call micro expedition cruises on the British Columbia and Alaska coast. We're going to have time for questions at the end. I'm going to maybe be talking for maybe 30 minutes. Anytime you think of a question, you can just click the Q&A bubble up on your screen and in your own screen and type the question in. You don't have to wait till the end. We will go through the questions at the end, but if you think you might forget, just throw it in there now. Here's the outline of what we're going to look at today. We're going to explain what the Explorers Club is, why we created it, and then a little bit of like, here's how to use it if you're not super software forward in your life. It's very easy. And then as a preview to you all for being part of this family at Maple Leaf Adventures, we're going to give you a quick insight into some of the new trips in 2026 and 2027. And then talk about different ways to make the most of your points, to combine them with other things. And then a quick preview also of the fact that it's our 40th anniversary next year. Then we'll finish with Q&A. I think I need to use the arrow keys. Excuse us for a second. There we go. Thank you. All right. As you probably know, being people who've traveled with us before, every guest means a lot to us. You are like our friends and our family. And although we are a small company with a very small scale of operation, we've always wanted to find a way to recognize the people that are close to us. Those of you who live nearby come by and visit, or sometimes we see you. But for people that don't live near us here in Victoria, we also wanted to create something that could work without boundaries. So for a long time, we've wanted to do this, and thanks to Kareen, we've been able to create something to recognize and honor that you are really part of this, and we really appreciate your enthusiasm and your love for what we do, and we want to recognize that to the best that we can. So that's what this program is about, and we'll go into a few more details about it. First of all, though, I want to show you how you can look up the rewards and the other benefits of being part of our program. And basically, if you've traveled with us before, you're included as part of it. And this is going to be a little kind of video I'm going to talk through that shows you how to log into your account. You would have gotten an email from us. And there is one thing I also should say here, just to back out. Karina is the expert on this, but she has lost her voice. So if there's a point at which I need to consult with her and you can't hear her, that's not your hearing. I will repeat what she says. Anyways, to find the login, you go to our website. At the bottom of our site, you click the Explorers Club link. And then you can go to the Explorers Club page and just log in. You see this home page here, and it shows your name and also your points. And if you click that, you can get into what the details are. So on the one side, it talks about like the benefits, and on the other side, it shows different ways to earn more points. And we'll look at those in a little bit more detail shortly. If you want to understand the policies and all the rest of it, you can click that policy button at the top. It's all the terms and conditions and how everything works. I'm not going to go through that here, but you can read it on your own. And if you have questions, just send us an email. We're happy to answer that. So if you haven't already signed up, so you might have gotten an email from us a while ago saying that welcome to the Explorers Club, click this link to create your account. We did create an account for everybody just to make sure that you all were here. So if you haven't gone in and set up your account, you can do that easily, and I'll show you how to do that in this next little video. Again, you go to our website, and then if you scroll down to the bottom of the website, what's this little mouse is going to do shortly, there we go. Again, once you get to the menus at the bottom, you'll see Explorers Club. Click that, it takes you to the site. Click change password in order to reset your password that we defaulted for you. That'll go into your email, and then you just do a normal password reset. If you have any troubles with that, give us a call, we can help you, but it should be really simple. You would then put your new password in, and it would just, you know, it's just the same as other password reset functions. And then if you wanted to, you could remember the password in whatever way works for you. Or maybe it's like your cat's name and the year it was born, and you'll never forget it. I don't know. Okay, so here's how this works, and we will over time develop and modify it, but this is the basics of it right now. When you log in, you go to your homepage, you'll see over here, this is kind of all the benefits that we've currently set up. So obviously you've been given some points, and those points are worth $50 each, and you can accumulate points. Those you can use as dollar value credits against your next trip. If you want to treat yourself to a nicer cabin, if you're booking on Sewell or Cascadia, if you want to buy something in the gift shop, you can use them. Those are like the dollar value benefits. For us though, you know, and I know we know that's worth something to people, and we have asked people what would be a value, but we also know that for our guests, for you, and for us, the connection and the relationship and the kind of information about the place and the journey that we're on together is also valuable. And so we wanted to create some custom experiences that are for people in our Explorers Club. And we are going to tell you about some of those soon, I think after Christmas. So they might be events, they might be online or in-person events, they might be special trips. There's any number of things that we potentially could do there, and feel free to send us ideas if you have any as well, things you really think would be valuable as experiences for our Explorers Club members, which are people that have traveled with us before. Over on the left side is the different ways to accumulate more of the dollar value points. So we will invite anybody to events who's in the club, and we will send you emails to invite you to those. You can choose to participate or not. But the points, so there's different ways to accumulate points. First is you can write a review on TripAdvisor or Google. You could refer a friend who books with us. You book more trips. If we have surveys where we want to find out your opinion about something and you completed one, you would automatically get some points. And the social media sharing one, I don't actually know how that works.
We will send a link.
Oh, we'll send a link, and if there's something you wanted to share, you know, it's totally up to you. But that's how you can get more points. on the monetary side of the Explorers Club. That's probably a lot to take in, but hopefully it's straightforward. Again, we have question time at the end. I wanted to transition though into the next part of this presentation, which is just a little bit of a deep dive on some of the newer itineraries that we've developed. And they are for 2026 and 2027. And you can see there's an Alaska Super Voyage on the Maple Leaf. There's a new exploratory spring Great Bear trip early in the spring on Cascadia, a Wildside trip on Maple Leaf, and one that's right off the screen there. For some reason, I've lost the name of it. It's the Great Bear Rainforest summer trip on Maple Leaf as well. And stand by for me to switch to the next slide. There we go. Thank you. All right. The Great Bear Rainforest spring trip in 2027 on Cascadia, we're running 2 of them. And these were actually suggested by 2 or 3 of our experienced expedition leaders and very enthusiastically adopted by Kevin, because it used to be in the olden days that we would not see much bear activity in April in the Great Bear Rainforest because it was trophy hunting season and the bears would hide and run away. But since the trophy hunt has been finished since the end of 2017, things are changing and there's actually quite a lot of activity in these estuaries in April, and we don't typically go there until May now. So we're taking this opportunity to do some exploratory trips on Cascadia in the spring, and we're inviting people who want to be part of that to come along. We've priced it as kind of an introductory trip. We do trips in this area. It's in Heiltsuk territory with whom we've had a protocol for a very long time. It's spectacular. But because it is the first trip, we wanted to give it kind of an introductory type of price. The team's going to be doing a scouting mission, not with guests on a small boat, this spring, just to confirm what it's like in April. And we're really excited because it's going to be in the fjords, but also weather permitting out at some of the offshore islands where there's sea otters, and there's some beautiful hot springs as well. So that's that one, and it will be in late April and very early May 2027 before the ship goes across to Haida Gwaii. Next slide. And that's just what Cascadia looks like below snow-capped peaks in the spring. So another 2027 trip that we've just launched our 2027, and we're slowly rolling this information out onto our website. I don't know that this is there yet, is we've revised Maple Leaf's summer schedule. And after a scouting trip that Kevin and I and Dave Pinnell and Caroline Fisher did on Maple Leaf this August, we've created a Great Bear Rainforest summer 6-day trip on Maple Leaf. So this is a trip that goes back into the Ata area, which is the largest, or it's the first rainforest of larger than 5,000 hectares that's intact. If you started in the bottom of North America and worked all the way up, it's the first one, and it was protected through the land use planning process. It happened in the Great Bear Rainforest in the 90s and early 2000s. So it's an absolutely spectacular place right adjacent to the Broughton Archipelago that's really quite rich in wildlife. Lots and lots of islands for easy cruising. It's a mecca for whales of many different kinds and other marine mammals, seabirds. And we've also reconnected with some of the researchers we know from Salmon Coast Research Station there to include them and their research in the trip, and also some farther flung islands. So that's a new itinerary for Maple Leaf. We will probably also include visits to the Umanistic Cultural Center and an element of cultural history as well in that trip from the Namgis. And that's just a picture of Kevin and me on a very rainy but spectacularly beautiful August day last year, exploring for this trip in the Ata. We've also brought back, and we're trying out, the Wild Side trip on Maple Leaf. Now, this was the original, the OG Wild Side trip back in 2005 to 2011. We did these trips on Maple Leaf. This is the area that Kevin was a Marine Park Ranger in the 90s and fell in love with. Nobody else does trips out here. It's wild, wild stuff right on the edge of the Pacific, on the edge of the continental shelf, below a glacial refugium. It's a stunning place, full of sea otters and seabirds and beaches and great places to kayak among tiny little islands. And also, he's maintained relationships with people he knew from Cayucot, from the community of Cayucot in the Checkosset Nation, since then. And so we have this really special opportunity to spend a day with folks from Cayucot on Spring Island. There's some cultural interpretation. There's a wonderful traditional salmon bake, time around the fire, and just exploring this part of Vancouver Island that most people never even think about, let alone get to see, because it's protected from the rest by the kind of mountainous spine of northern Vancouver Island, and there's no highways or almost no roads here. So this is like the ultimate super adventurers trip, because you're on Maple Leaf and you're out on the wild West Coast. I think it's incredible, but if you're at all frightened of that, then this would not be the trip for you. But if you're adventurous, then it's definitely something to consider. And that's just a picture of hanging out on Spring Island with folks from Cayucot while we did the salmon bake before we eat it.
Maureen, sorry to interrupt. It's Charlie Raitt here. We can't see the slides. I'm not sure if everyone else can, and it's just my own incompetence.
Agree. He was suggesting that you log out and log back in, to see if that fixes it. There might be a comment in the chat too.
We'll try that.
Oh, yeah. It's just Charlie said that. So hopefully everyone else can see the slides. If you can't, put something in the chat. Thanks.
I can see them, but I had the same problem he had and did exactly what you just suggested, and they work again.
Awesome. Thank you. That's great. All right. And finally, one of our other new itineraries is every 5 or so years, we schedule the Maple Leaf to go back to Alaska. She, again, was our original Alaska trips. We replaced her in Alaska with Swell, which has an incredibly long history of operating there. And Maple Leaf and Cascadia are better ships for the remote and kind of rugged waters of Haida Gwaii. That's why we did that switch. But every 5 or 10 years, I think there's enough people that really want to do the Inside Passage on Maple Leaf and just be 360 degrees surrounded by all this majesty. And so 2026 August is the time. We have 2 trips on Maple Leaf in Alaska, and it's all the classic Alaska experiences, from glaciers to rainforest, to all of the wildlife and the kind of cultural history of Alaska as well. And if it works out, we often visit the Alaska Whale Foundation's researchers at the Five Fingers Lighthouse, which is in the middle of the junction of these 2 very large bodies of water, Frederick Sound and Stevens Passage. It's a long trip. It's an epic super voyage trip, but it is, as you can see, quite incredible to be surrounded by the incredibly large and majestic landscape of Southeast Alaska, which is sort of like the British Columbia landscape on steroids, I would say. It's a key time for bear viewing, as well as the salmon runs start in July in Alaska, and August is a major time for that. So those are some little deep dives on some of the newer itineraries we have. a lot of our itineraries are solid and classic, but we always do like to keep a little something new happening for everybody. It also keeps our crew engaged, because it means that there's still new experiences to be had and found and shared with other people. So 2026 is our 40th anniversary. It's hard to believe, but we really sat down and we said, you know, this is a major milestone. And a lot has transformed in the industry, in travel, in our ideas of what it means and what we expect to get from it. And also on this coast, since this company, which was a really visionary company in 1986, was founded. And so we're going to do a few different things to celebrate it. And I'm sort of hesitant to tell you everything because nothing's super nailed down yet, but let's just say there might be some short special alumni trips in the Salish Sea, very short. There might be some open ship events in maybe more cities than Victoria. There might be some really cool learning opportunities, impact reports, and speaking engagements. And we're trying to get it all launched in the new year. So this is just a heads up for you. Stay tuned. And we hope that you would love to be part of celebrating 40 years and what it means. The question that we've been asking ourselves recently is, what are we celebrating and why is it important? Because to me, and I think to a lot of people, it's more than just, aren't we great? We've survived for 40 years, right? Like that's not our purpose and our mission. And I think, I hope that we might even invite some of you to contribute to that. So maybe reflect on what you think might be important to celebrate of 40 years of this company and its kind of travel and its impact on the coast. Finally, if some of those trips sounded of interest to you and you want to have more information about them, Mikhail and Kiara here are pretty much ready to send that information out. So you can get in touch with them one of these ways, by email or by the web form, of course, on our website, or by giving them a call. They are always happy to talk to you guys. And that is the presentation I wanted to give you. And if you have any questions, please pop them into that Q&A box right now, and we will go through them. And I might ask Corinne a couple of questions as well that I think of. So the first question is, what's the point worth? They're worth $50 each. So if you have 400 points, that's $200. And then if you like refer a friend and they book, I think that's 300 points. Is that right? So it's another 150. If you do a review, it's 200. So that's another 100. So you can accumulate them by not just by traveling. And one of the things that Corinne wanted me to remind you guys of is that you can use them and combine them with different special offers that we have in order to maximize the points, because you can often when we do a special offer, I mean, we're a small company, we're not, and everything is small scale. So we're not like a 1,000-room hotel where we just give stuff away for free. We're trying to create a living here on the coast that's good for the coast. But usually when we have a special offer, it's not combinable with other ones. These points, though, you can use in combination with them. So you wanted me to point that out, right? Yes, she's nodding. Okay. Are there any other questions at this point? It looks simple. Fantastic. Well, I really did mean what I said. If you have ideas for really interesting alumni trips or events that you think would be a really neat feature of kind of like the Maple Leaf Adventures Family Explorers Club, we do welcome those. I'll let Mikhail know to expect them, so he can forward them to me if you email him. And thank you again for being part of what we're doing, part of this mission to celebrate the coast. And we look forward to welcoming you back on board. And I guess actually before you go, would you be interested if I can convince Kevin and the team to do it in a webinar from Shipyard, showing what we're doing with the ships, like with the crew telling you what we're doing? It might be techie, a little bit technical for us to make it work, but let me know if you'd be interested in that. Thanks.